There is a silent, chilling rupture in your consciousness that only reveals itself when the world around you becomes far too ordinary. Maybe in those silent seconds before sleep arrives, when you look at your own hands and, for an instant, they seem to belong to a stranger. It's an existential buzzing, a sharp perception that you are inhabiting a biological form, moving through a world that seems solid, but carries a suspicious lightness, as if everything were a hastily assembled set. Most of us spend our entire lives trying to suppress this feeling with routines, notifications, and goals, because stopping to listen to it is accepting an invitation to the unknown. We've been conditioned to see ourselves as mere biological byproducts, tiny sparks of carbon drifting through a cold vacuum that is entirely indifferent to our presence. Yet, if the label of insignificant dust feels too small for the actual weight of your consciousness, it is because you are navigating with a map that doesn't account for your own depth. If this kind of exploration into what pulsates beneath the surface interests you, perhaps you're already part of that rare group of people who have stopped accepting ready-made answers and started to feel the gravity of the real questions. We often seek the meaning of our importance by looking upwards to the monumental scale of galaxies and the eternal dance of solar systems. We feel small before the vastness of the sky. However, there is a profound mathematical fallacy in this humility. If we stop measuring reality by the space it occupies and begin to measure it by how much is actually happening within a specific point, the hierarchy of the cosmos is completely inverted. A sun is immense, but its rules are elementary: gravity and fusion. It burns predictably for billions of years, following a script of a few pages. But what happens within a single second of your thought, the flow of memories, the anticipation of the future, the synthesis of colors and sounds in a subjective experience, demands a density of information that makes a star seem like a simplistic draft. You have been trained to feel like a biological accident in a mechanical universe, but physics and biology are beginning to whisper something far more disturbing. You are not just an inhabitant of reality. You are the most complex event the universe has ever managed to produce. Notice how the idea that smaller is always simpler falls apart when we look at the architecture of the mind. There is a network of 86 billion points of light inside your skull, each connected to thousands of others, creating a web of connections that surpasses the number of stars in hundreds of galaxies. But it's not just about numbers. It's about states of possibility. The number of different configurations your brain can assume is so vast that there aren't enough atoms in the observable universe to count them. This means that, from the point of view of the density of events, your skull is deeper than outer space. There is more room inside you than outside, and yet, we spend our days feeling cramped in cubicles, in jobs that drain our vitality, and in social roles that demand we be predictable, linear, and simplistic. The pain you feel trying to fit into a small life is not a manufacturing defect. It's a protest against a system of infinite complexity being forced to operate as a cog in a machine. The universe didn't spend billions of years refining the sensitivity of your consciousness so that you would simply be an efficient consumer or a productivity statistic. There's a part of your brain that never stops narrating who you are, constructing a continuous story where you are the protagonist of a personal drama. This inner voice creates the illusion that you are an isolated observer, someone who is in here, looking at the world out there. But this separation is the first major filter that prevents us from seeing reality. In fact, your brain doesn't passively receive the world. It's constantly guessing at it. Even before light touches your eyes, your mind has already built a model of what it expects to find. And what you call seeing is actually the brain checking if its predictions are even minimally correct. We live within a controlled hallucination, a well-informed guess that keeps us alive but blinds us to the raw nature of existence. What you touch is not the thing itself, but the nervous response your system created for that interaction. This leads us to an uncomfortable realization. The solid world you see is merely the interface of something far more fluid and interconnected, something your biological survival prevents you from fully perceiving. Perhaps you feel a resistance now, an impulse to say that this is just poetry or a play on words to inflate the human ego. This skepticism is a natural defense mechanism. We have been shaped by centuries of materialism that told us that matter is the only real thing and that consciousness is merely an accidental byproduct. But this view is cracking. When we look at the deeper structure of reality, we realize that there are no solid things waiting to be seen. There are only relationships. A subatomic particle has no fixed properties until it interacts with another. You are the point where the universe finally interacts with itself intensely enough for something to appear. You are the contrast that allows reality to take shape, color, and meaning. Without your event of perception, the universe would be a mute equation, an ocean of possibilities with no one to witness the shipwreck or the beauty. Imagine reality not as a river flowing from the past to the future, but as an immense, transparent, four-dimensional block where every moment of history is physically present forever. In this block, the dinosaur that breathed its last millions of years ago is still there, occupying its specific coordinate. The moment you were born and the moment you will leave this body are also there, etched into the geometry of time. Most people imagine we are shadows walking across this glass, but the truth is more vibrant. You are a golden knot in this fabric. Throughout the vast, dark expanse of this cosmic block, most of the space is empty, cold, and simple. But at certain coordinates, the threads of reality bend, intersect, and intertwine with such creative fury that the very structure begins to glow. This glow is consciousness. You are the place where the universe decided to fold back on itself to see what it had become. You are not contained in time. You are a permanent extension of the fabric of reality. This shift in perspective requires us to abandon the comfort of being insignificant. Being a speck of dust is easy. It demands nothing of us. If we don't matter, then our choices have no weight. Our attention has no value, and our indifference is justified. But if you accept that you are the pinnacle of the cosmos's complexity, the weight of existence returns to your shoulders. The quality of your attention becomes the chisel that sculpts the texture of your reality. When you choose to look at someone with real presence, instead of just reacting through your survival filters, you are short-circuiting the system's predictability. You are allowing the universe to have a high-resolution experience of itself. The exhaustion you feel from living on autopilot is not a lack of energy. It is the biological cost of betraying your very nature of being a conscious event. The system was built to be awake, not to be efficient. Note that if the whole is contained in the parts, just as the genetic code of your entire body is present in a single cell of your skin, then you carry the properties of the entire universe, virtually written in every thought. The separation between self and other begins to seem like a useful linguistic convention for survival, but ontologically false. When you converse with another person, what is happening is not merely a social exchange between two individuals. It is two coordinates of extremely high density in the space-time block attempting to synchronize their frequencies. It is a neural supernova. It is the universe using two pairs of eyes to look into the same mirror. If we stopped seeing ourselves as biological machines competing for resources and began to see ourselves as the points where the cosmos reaches its maximum lucidity, the way we deal with anxiety, loneliness, and failure would radically change. The failure of an event as complex as you can never be measured by simple social standards, because your mere existence is already the ultimate success of cosmic architecture. The discomfort many feel today, the sensation that the world is fake or that we are living in a simulation, may simply be our consciousness becoming clear enough to perceive the transparency of the narratives that have been sold to us. We begin to notice the threads that bind our perceptions. We realize that fear is a tool of simplification. It makes us act predictably, reducing our infinite complexity to impulses of fight or flight. When you are afraid, you are easy to understand, easy to control, and easy to replace. But when you become present, when you inhabit your own consciousness without the need for a label or external validation, you become dangerously unpredictable to the system. You reclaim your sovereignty as the central event of your own slice of reality. We often believe that evolution is something that happened in the past, a ladder we climb to get here. But spiritual and cognitive evolution is not a historical fact. It's a process that happens now, in the gap between one thought and another. It's the moment when you stop being the narrative and become the space where the narrative happens. This shift from being the thinker to being the presence is what finally allows us to breathe effortlessly. You don't need to fix your mind, because the mind is just the weather passing through the sky of your being. The sky is never broken, no matter how terrible the storm. Recognizing this is the silent liberation that no one teaches you in school, because a person who knows they are the sky cannot be ruled by the fear of the clouds. Science searches for the fundamental particle, the ultimate building block of matter, believing it will hold the secret to everything. But what it repeatedly finds is that the deeper we dig, the more the substance disappears, leaving only the relationship. The atom is not a thing. It is something that happens when particles decide to organize themselves. The cell is not a thing. It is an event of chemical cooperation. You are not a thing. You are a continuous conversation between trillions of parts and the whole that sustains them. If the foundation of reality is not a substance, but a complex relationship, then love, empathy, and connection are not just pretty human emotions. They are the conscious manifestation of the fundamental laws of physics. To connect is to align oneself with the very way the universe holds itself together. Perhaps the reason you've never felt completely at home in this world is because you weren't made to fit into it, but for it to fit into you. If you carry virtually the entire universe within every spark of consciousness, then there's nowhere to run and nothing to seek outside. The secret that culture tries to hide beneath layers of noise is that you already are what you're looking for. The search for awakening, for enlightenment, or for purpose is merely the universe playing hide and seek with itself through your biology. The moment you stop chasing that idealized image of who you should be is the moment the golden knot shines brightest. There's nothing to achieve, only something immense to be recognized. The irreducible complexity of your mind is what makes the future inherently open, despite all the laws of physics suggesting otherwise. In a perfectly determined universe, you are the unpredictable variable. Every conscious choice you make, however small it may seem, is a disturbance in the overall entropy. You are the way the universe has found to fight against silence and oblivion. When you choose curiosity over judgment, or silence over empty noise, you are exercising the function for which this entire vast cosmic machine was calibrated, the production of meaning. Meaning is not written in the stars. The stars are waiting for you to look at them so that they can finally mean something. The properties of the whole are inscribed within you, but the whole also depends on your unique perspective to be complete. If a single cell were missing from your body, it would be different. If your specific slice of experience were missing from the block of space-time, the universe would be incomplete. You are a necessary component of the geometry of existence. This belonging doesn't need to be earned. It is the basic fact of your birth. The feeling of being lost is merely a miscalculation, a moment when you forgot you are the ocean and started worrying about the size of the wave. But the wave and the ocean have never been two different things. As you close your eyes tonight, before sleep dissolves your personal history once more, try to feel the pressure of this infinite complexity resting in the silence of your room. You are not a solitary observer in the dark. You are the point where the darkness finally turned on the lights and began to wonder who it was. The universe took billions of years of chaos, stellar collisions, and biological evolution to arrive at this exact moment, where these words can be processed by your consciousness. The entire history of the cosmos converged, so that you are here now, aware of your own existence. The question that keeps echoing is no longer about what the universe wants from you, but about what you, being the universe, wish to see through these eyes tomorrow. The stage is set, the lights are on, and the audience is infinity itself, silently awaiting your next act of attention. What will you choose to make real now that you have realized there was never a wall between you and the rest of the mystery? The journey doesn't end with a logical conclusion, because reality cannot be contained in a sentence. It continues in every conscious breath you take, In every moment, you realize that the world isn't just happening with you, but through you. You are the witness and the flame, the observer and the observed, the thought and the silence that sustains it. And perhaps, in the end, the greatest mystery isn't the size of the universe out there, but the fact that it needed someone exactly like you to finally be called home.